Hello, hello. It has been a while since I posted a build for my max save file. As I'm recording this, it's actually been a while since I posted at all. The holidays were unexpectedly busier than usual this year, but I did sneak in some time to do some building out in Granite Falls. I've been working on the 100 baby challenge for almost a year now, and I want to mix things up a little bit, do something a little bit different just in addition to the 100 baby challenge so that things don't get stale. I think we all know that The Sims can do that from time to time. And the build that we're starting with is the lodge that's located on the Granite Falls forest lot. It's the one that you mostly use to go get all of the herbalism, bugs and herbs and all of that. And I think you can also get to the hermit from this particular lot. The build that comes on this lot has always kind of bothered me just because of how cluttered it is. There's the insects all over the counters. It's just really cluttered. It always kind of stresses me out a little bit. I don't like using it. So I wanted to build something a little bit simpler, but still keep the campground elements to it. So I just wanted to build a small lodge, which I based off of this one that I found online. It's a scout lodge for a troop, I believe in the UK. For all of the builds that I did for Granite Falls, I only used base game and Granite Falls, and where I could, I tried to only use the Granite Falls items. And I had never looked at it before, but not a lot of build buy stuff comes with the outdoor retreat kit. I had never noticed that before. I had also never realized that my absolute least favorite flooring came with this pack. It's this horrific wood floor that I don't know, the swatches just, none of them look right, but I use them in every single build. And yes, I did notice that most of their builds didn't use the wallpapers or the floorings that came with this pack, which is either really telling or just a major oversight. I don't know which. This was the very first DLC, I think, that was released for The Sims 4. So I'll give them a little bit of grace because of that, but also The Sims 4 is a game that runs on DLC. So anyway, I wanted to make a really big lodge with a lot of rooms and bunk beds and basically just very peak summer camp vibes out in the middle of nowhere. There's also some rooms for like the people who are in charge of the whole camp and then maybe the camp counselors. This build ended up feeling extremely nostalgic for me. I feel like I've spent a lot of time in buildings like this, like kind of blank, no personality buildings that are built for troops to go on trips. I wasn't super involved in the scouts, but I did it enough as a child to remember a lot of those. I don't think I actually even realized that the scouts was in the UK, so that was an interesting discovery for me as well. It just seems like a very American kind of thing. Has a lot of let's remember our pioneer ancestors sort of energy. Oh, we're working in the kitchen. I should probably explain that open window doorway. This build basically had a kitchen that had an open serving window where you could come up and pick up the food and then take it back to your seat. And I was trying to mimic that. There's nothing quite like that in the base game, but I think that window worked. I also tried to put every single activity item that's available in the base game and in Outdoor Retreat. Actually, I don't know. Were there any special activity items in this pack? I think there was a bonfire, which I don't think was base game until relatively recently. I think my main goal with this lot was if I'm working with a sim that needs to do things with the herbalism skill, but I don't want them to travel alone, so they bring their family or someone else on the trip with them. I wanted that someone else to have something to do while I was off collecting bugs in the wilderness, right? And in this particular lot, they can do literally anything they want to. And I mostly concentrated on the lodge itself. I didn't worry too much about the exterior area with the trees and plants and all of that. This is a very large lot. I don't think it's a 60 by 60. I think it might be like a 50-40. And honestly, I think it's fine for what it is. If you want to bring a tent, you can. If you want to stay in the lodge, you can. I also use a mod which makes all of the destination vacation worlds livable. so you can actually even live here if you wanted to with that mod. It's honestly kind of a great lot to have like a cult commune. I personally don't feel super comfortable with that kind of gameplay just because I've watched a lot of survivor stories and it makes me feel uncomfortable. But if you wanted to, this is a great lot for that. And this is just the first build. I did rebuild every single lot in this world. So there are 4 kind of residential type of lots in the other neighborhood, along with one that is a campground. I did keep all of that relatively the same, at least the purposes for each of the lots, but they all have a very different vibe and we'll get there eventually. I love this little area, by the way. I wanted to do a little commissary type area. And on each of the lots, I put some of the herbalism, I know they're not called potions, but your remedies, herbalism thingies that you can make, because that is a really major part of the gameplay for this pack. I've only really played with it once in the past, and I am looking forward to doing more so in the future. I also built this little gardening area out back. I'm thinking I might go in and plant the herbalism ingredients in these planters. So if you just want to come out here and you just need the ingredients for something and you don't feel like bumbling about the forest for a while, you could just pick them up right here. I feel like I would find that very useful in some of my playthroughs. Really, herbalism seems like one of those skills that I really sleep on, but it's pretty easy, pretty accessible. You can just go wander about the forest and get the ingredients. And some of the mixtures you can make are pretty OP. And I can see them being useful for a pack like the Jungle Adventure one, because there's like a deodorant that you can make, which is basically the shower in a can, I think it's called, from the Jungle Adventure pack. There's also a fertility potion. I know, I keep calling them potions. They're not potions. Listen, they look like little potions with their little labels. They're so cute. Anyway, the fertility one increases the chance that you'll have twins or triplets, I think. And there's also one that can give you the uncomfortable moodlet really quickly because it makes you sick to your stomach and makes you uncontrollably itchy. I feel like making my Sims uncomfortable is one of the more difficult things to do in the game, especially with how many mods I use, but even without that, it can be difficult to force that feeling. So the fact that there's just a potion that you can give someone is pretty useful. There are a couple of rooms in this build that don't have any practical use. Like this is a storage room with just extra, pillows and stuff. The one next to it is kind of the HVAC type mechanical storage sort of room. There's also one that I did earlier that's like a closet kind of area, a place where you can keep galoshes and raincoats and things like that so that they don't have to be taking up space in the cabin rooms. So those rooms are really just there to look pretty, but I did try to make most of the rooms on this lot completely functional and useful for when you need to come here. And here we are at the finished camping lodge. I especially love this little debug flag. I think it's actually a base game debug item, but it's so perfect and so cute for a campground. We can just look around the outside first. I had my little guy over here. What is your name? Darnell. I had him come over here and plant all of the herbs that come with this pack. We've got the good versions over here like huckleberry, and then we've got the bad versions over here like muckleberry. Oh, that name is so funny. And then the back, I didn't do much except for add a little camp supplies station and a little bonfire section back here, along with some activities on the porch. That doesn't go there. I don't recall where I was going to put you. You know what? We will just put you down here beside the stairs. How about that, sir? Okay, so we've got chess tables, woodworking, a little telescope so you can die by a meteorite crash if you want to. Also have a little love bush in case it's needed. And good for Darnell, he's acquired the thanatology skill. Well, you have fun with that, I suppose. What are you doing? The Blooms Bluff Mystery House. Is that a game? Darnell, why am I learning new things from whatever it is you're doing over here? Anyway, we'll leave him to it and come in through the front door. This little rug is so horrific. Like, what is this rug even for? It looks like something that would have come in the werewolves pack. What is even happening on this rug? Why are there tiny stick figure dogs and a moon and there's orange trees? I don't understand this rug. You know, I do love going into that zoom perspective. It really helps you find any areas that you need to fix, like bringing the foundation of that down. Okay. And now Darnell is learning the programming skill. Darnell, I need you to stop being so productive over there. Anyway, we come in through the front door and now this door over here to the left is fixed. So you can go in. This is the little storage area just for boots and clothes and things. I love this locker object that's in the base game. I used it several times in the builds for this world. It's a fun one that I never realized was there before. But you go out to the entranceway again, and there's our little commissary with all of our potions having disappeared. I'm not sure why. Okay, I've added them back. Hopefully they continue staying on the shelves. I'm not sure if that's one of those debug items that just bugs out. Hopefully not, but those are available in here if you want them, as well as some little stuffies and all of the books. I also tried to make sure that all of the new books with this pack were available on each lot. So there's a couple of, I think, fiction and nonfiction, and then the herbalism skill books. And then over here, as Daryl has discovered, is a little computer area for you to email home if you need to, since most of these places tend to take away your electronics. So you can get that authentic nature experience. But more realistically, that's so we can all use MC Command Center when we need to cheat. And then over this way is the kitchen. Pretty basic, but you do have a coffee maker and a microwave if you need it. And then this is the little window that I was talking about where you can come up and someone can just hand you your food and you can go right over to your table. Little storage area in here, and then over here we have another storage area with the fire alarm and some pipes. All of these items, these clutter items, came in this outdoor retreat pack, which I love. They are super useful. I wish they came in more varieties, like with different things in them, but they are super useful to just clutter up a space. And then we go over to the main kind of living area. We've got some darts. We've got a bear walking in the distance, as you do. Here's the little dining area with the menu on the wall. These little clutter items on the table and this light also came from this pack. I'm really enjoying doing these base game only plus the pack builds because I'm learning what's actually in, especially some of these early packs that I bought when I started playing The Sims, but I didn't start playing it until several years after it launched, so I'm just not familiar with what came in which pack. Anyway, we also have some easels and a little card table. This card table came with this pack, and this little tarp as well, which I don't really know what you do with this tarp. I don't go camping myself very often. Someone please tell me what that tarp is for. I really could not figure out what to do with it in any of these builds. But then we have a fireplace. I have put the fire guard on it, so hopefully it doesn't catch anything on fire. Like this beautiful rug of dinosaurs. And yeah, I'm not really sure. Uh-oh, Darnell, what is happening? You're getting a phone call. Please don't answer that. And we have this little sitting area, bonsai tree, guitar. This guitar also came with this pack. There were a surprising number of really useful items, and then also a surprising lack of any chair other than basically these. And then there were just weird items like these stone benches that match literally nothing else that comes with the pack. Really odd. Where are you going, Darnell? You're going to work. Okay, we're just gonna pause because I cannot handle you living your life. Anyway, I put each of the fish plaques for the new fish in this pack above each of the doors because a lot of the time these rooms have their own name. Like one group of people will be staying in the s'more room or in the camp trail room or whatever. Each of the rooms will have a name. So I figured maybe they named each room based on the fish. So the main camp counselor room doesn't have one and the bathroom doesn't have one, but all of the rooms with bunk beds do. And I don't know, I love that cute idea. But all of these rooms are basically the same thing. They are 4 beds, all of the monk beds. I have play tested all of this, so it should all work. And you've got 4 rooms of those. This is more for the junior camp counselors, like the slightly older kids, maybe the teenagers that are helping out. And then we've got a bathroom. There is nothing exciting about a bathroom other than these really just interesting wooden showers and wooden sinks that came with this pack. But it didn't come with a wooden toilet, which I was a little annoyed with, so I just used this one, which kind of looks like it fits in with the theme. And then continuing in this direction, we have maybe the senior camp counselor helper people that had their own room together with some inspirational posters about pigs flying and narwhals living their best purple wig life. And each of these rooms has their own private bathroom, and then this would be like the main counselor's room with a little map of the area. And that is it for this build. I do quite like this area. I have the building kind of facing the fishing spot that you can go to. You can, oh, and he just went off to work. Okay, well, never mind. You can see where it is though. So that is where I'll end it, although I will give you a little bit of a sneak peek at the next one, which is this cute little A-frame house, but we'll do that next time. Hope you enjoyed. As always, let me know what you would have done differently. I tried to do these in a maximalist style, but maximalist cabins are kind of difficult because you want to keep that log cabin aesthetic, and I'm not sure that that totally jives with the maximalist aesthetic, but I've tried in the houses especially. Do the things like subscribe, and the next video will be this little A-frame.